November 2022, I was at the end of my sidewalk with an 8-month-long walk with depression. To try to describe how I felt during those 8 months would be pretty common. Internally, I felt gone. Everything I loved that used to give me joy was severely muted. I couldn't find pleasure anywhere. So you're picked to just endure, right? You suck it up. Well, you can only do so much sucking because you're gonna get full. And that's where I was at. I was full. I didn't have any answers. So I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I just grabbed my camera, jumped in my car, bundled up a little bit, and took off with the intention of just taking some photos. I had no real clear idea of what that was gonna do. I didn't grab it and say, maybe this will help. I just grabbed it and left. And I said, I'm just gonna go take some photos. I ended up staying out for about 13 hours that day taking photos, well into the dark. There was something about it that kept me calm. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I just knew how I felt, and I didn't want that to go away. It felt so good. I went out the next day for another 10 or 12 hours, and the next day. So 3 full days I was out there in the cold, which I do not like. But there was something about what I was doing that was keeping me together. I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I needed to know why. There was something about bringing that camera up to your face that just made everything pause. I was noticing light, reflections, shadows, color, composition, noticing the beauty around me, slowing down enough to be able to see it. And in that hunt, as I was hunting, because that's what it felt like, each photo, the next thing I was hunting for, I would jump in the car and just drive to another area and hunt, bringing the camera up, feeling that feeling, thinking, wow, taking photos is really giving me a break, right? Because it's just a break. Everything kind of just pauses. And that was okay, but I was eating it up. I wanted more and more. Obviously, that's why I kept going out there. I couldn't pin it. I thought it was just the act of taking the photos. But of course, I would see much more later, right? Looking back at those photos now, they look exactly like how I was feeling inside. Smokestacks, dead trees, emptiness, industrial, dark skies. Even the edit I put on them was very dramatic and dark. I didn't even realize it at the time. But the photos were dark, dreary, dramatic, and so was I. Photography had forced me into a moment before I even understood what it meant. Photography was one of the first things that forced me into presence, my now. I thought I was loving the photography, but I was loving the silence it was creating in my head. I was confused. I didn't understand it. The depression wasn't gone, but it definitely lost some of its grip. It lost its grip through observation, which I find fascinating. Taking those photos was showing me awareness. The one thing that I knew that it was doing for me was quieting the narration in my head. It slowed the erratic thoughts. It almost stopped time. Taking photos was my doorway It was my doorway into something that I didn't know I was walking into. And through that doorway, I had one hell of a walk that I've been doing for 4 years now almost. And I am so glad I walked through that door, because I can say to you now that photography definitely saved my life. In so many ways, I don't think my camera has enough on the card for me to keep going. But I'm not going to get into all that right now. I don't need to, because I'm going to walk it. I'm going to show it. I'm going to be an example of it. Photography allowed me to find my peace. It opened the door for me into my presence, my right now. And I was so confused by it, I had to study it. I dove in. I went down a rabbit hole. I'm still falling. I walk with a peace I've never felt before in my life. Maybe for you it's not photography. Maybe it's fishing. Maybe it's running. Maybe it's music. Whatever you can think of in your mind that you may gravitate towards, I suggest giving it a try. Trying to find something that's going to bring your presence into focus. Something that'll make you stop and slow down for a second and try to witness what's in front of you. Besides worrying about what's next and what was, look at your now. Look at your presence. And if it's uncomfortable at the moment, figure it out. Cancel the things that are in your now that is causing you stress to want to leave it. Find what works for you, whatever that may be. Find the thing that will slow the constant narration in your head enough to let you see what's in front of you. Photography changed my life. Taking those photos led me to awareness. My presence became important. Looking back, those freezing streets was the first place I accidentally found myself.